Nice. So I saw you were commenting that you were having a little bit of struggles when you have multivariable and kind of getting overwhelmed with working those problems. So I thought I would work an example problem for you just to talk about how to approach this. So we have this problem here, which is 14v cubed plus 12u squared plus 28uv squared plus 6uv. So there's a lot of u's and a lot of v's, and that can get really overwhelming and kind of confusing. So the very first thing you always want to see is there a greatest common factor? Well, the first thing I'm looking at is our coefficients for all of these. We have 14, 12, 28, and 6. And I know that all of 4 of those terms are going to be divisible by 2. So I'm going to start right away with factoring out 2. And when I factor out 2, I'm going to write my V's and my U's in a different color just so that they stand out to me a little bit better. So I'm going to pull out my 2. And so 14 divided by 2 gives me 7. And I'm going to pick this bright red for V. So it's going to be V cubed plus 12 divided by 2 gives me 6. And we'll use blue for U, so U squared plus 2 goes into 28, 14 times. Okay, and I have a U and a V squared, so I'm going to write my U in blue, U V squared. And finally, plus I have 6 divided by 2 gives me a 3, and I have a U and a V. So one thing, by writing this in different colors, I can quickly look and see, unfortunately, these 4 terms are not going to have one thing in common. So that gets a little bit more difficult, but not going to worry about it. So I am going to actually rearrange this problem to make it make a little bit more sense as we're going through this. I'm going to move such that my U squared is the first term. That's just because I see that I've got these 3 terms that have V squared, and my final one is a V cubed. I'm going to put that at the end because when I'm factoring, in order to get a V cubed, I'm gonna have to have a V and a V squared somewhere. So let's rewrite this. So I have 2 times 6, and I'll keep the colors, U squared. That took care of this term, plus, and I'm gonna go ahead and write 3UV next. And the reason why I did that is just so that I can group it a little bit better, hopefully. And then we will have plus 14uv squared. And finally, plus 7v cubed. Ooh, sorry, I didn't write this in the right color. I'll just write over it, v cubed, okay? So now that I have it rearranged, I'm going to start looking and see how I can go about breaking this down. So the first thing I want to look at and see is I'm going to have the 2, and I know I'm going to have, this is going to have factors, right? I know that I'm going to need to have a U and a U in this first spot in order to give me this U squared term. So the next thing I'm going to look at is, how do I get this 6 term? Well, I know 2 times 3 is going to be 6. So I'm going to try and start out by putting my 3 here and a 2 here. And some of this does come down to being trial and error when you start working on this. So we have this and the 3u and a 2u, and everything's positive, so we're going to have a plus sign. Next, I know that to get 7, I have to multiply. So this term down here has a 7. I know there are no factors of 7. I can only multiply 7 times 1 to give me a 7. So I know that my coefficient here is going to be a 7. And if I look, I can see that 7 times 2 gives me a 14. And I already have the u, so I'm going to go ahead and put my v squared here. And then I'm going to put my 1, and in order to get a v cubed, I need to have a v here. So now I want to look and see, does this work out? I have 3u times 2u gives me a 6u, so that takes care of this first term. So I'm going to figure this out by refactoring it. So I get 6u squared, and the 2 still on the outside, plus, if I'm factoring this out and I multiply 3u times 1v, that gives me a 3uv, which took care of this term. Then I multiply 7v squared times 2u gives me a 14v squared u. So that just took care of this term. And my final term, when I multiply it, is going to give me a plus 7v cubed. Hopefully that helps you out a little bit. A lot of it is just rearranging and then making sure that you're writing down each of the steps. And I highly recommend using different colors. It really does help to differentiate. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, email, or come by office hours. Have a great day.